You know the exact feeling. The alarm goes off, you slam snooze, and instantly the race begins. Traffic, emails, notifications, you're running at full speed before you've even had a chance to breathe. But then, 12 hours later, you collapse into bed, completely exhausted, and realize you didn't actually get anything meaningful done. Why does that happen? We often mistake the friction of movement for the forward momentum of progress. We feel productive because we are busy, but busyness is a poor substitute for results. We treat every single task on our plate like a blaring siren, screaming for immediate attention. But the things that actually matter, the tasks that build real, lasting value, are quiet. They grow slowly in the background, like an oak tree. Until we learn to separate the loud, immediate distractions from that quiet, steady growth, we're going to stay stuck in a cycle of total exhaustion, always running, but never actually reaching our goals. This is Dwight D. Eisenhower. As the 34th U.S. president, his daily to-do lists were heavier than most of us will experience in a lifetime. Before taking office, he orchestrated the Allied forces during World War II, managing global troop movements, military strategy, and international diplomacy under extreme pressure. Yet whether commanding the military or sitting at this Oval Office desk, he rarely appeared rushed. He refused to let daily chaos dictate his schedule. He operated on a very simple rule: what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. This framework provided a battle-tested filter for global crises, proving that even the highest stakes can be managed by separating the loud from the vital. Years later, author Stephen Covey took Eisenhower's philosophy and turned it into a practical tool for personal management. It's called the Eisenhower Matrix. The matrix works by dividing how you spend your time along two simple metrics: how urgent a task is and how important it is. First, we have the top right box: important and urgent. These are the fires. A hard deadline, a medical emergency, a server crash. These demand your immediate attention. You have to handle these today, of course, but they need to be fenced in. If your entire life is spent in this box, you are just a firefighter, jumping blindly from one crisis to the next. Now look at the bottom half of the matrix. These two quadrants are collectively known as the time thieves, because no matter how loud they get, they completely lack true importance. Quadrant 3 is urgent but not important. Endless group chats, quick meetings without an agenda, minor favors. You have to learn to say no to these, or delegate them ruthlessly. Finally, there is Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. This is pure waste, the absolute bottom of the barrel. We're talking about hours of doom scrolling on social media or indulging in idle office gossip. There is no middle ground here. You have to cut these out of your routine entirely. When you spend your days trapped in the bottom half of this grid, you drain your mental energy. You get to maintain the illusion of being incredibly busy while actively avoiding anything that leads to long-term growth. Which brings us to the final, quietest box, Quadrant 2, important but not urgent. This is where you actually want to live. This is the space for physical health, deep reading, learning a new skill, and dedicated time with your family. But here is the dangerous paradox of Quadrant 2. Because nobody is screaming at you to go to the gym, and there is no strict deadline for reading a book, human nature guarantees we will delay these tasks for tomorrow. You need to recognize these specific tasks for what they are: your compounders. They start small, but over the years, they multiply your capabilities, your health, and your overall happiness. If you want to build a genuinely meaningful life, you have to actively schedule time for the things that are vital, precisely because they will never ask for your attention. Using these filters shifts our focus from simply checking boxes to building time wealth. By forcing every task through these 4 quadrants, we develop an acute awareness, or jagrukta, of our hidden habits. This practice eventually trains our attention, our dhyan, to ignore the noise and protect our most valuable work. Starting tomorrow, the plan is simple. First, manage the genuine emergencies. Put the fires out, but keep them contained. Second, take a hard look at the bottom half of your schedule and sever the time thieves. Stop giving your energy to the noise. And third, forcefully anchor the majority of your daily life in those quiet compounders. Decide to do them and put them on your calendar. Time is your most valuable asset. If you don't intentionally spend it building your tomorrow, it will absolutely be consumed by the meaningless noise of today.